More VO mics I didn't like.
You're listening to the dangerous mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov. No excuses, no BS, no pants.
Another round of my personal experiences with these microphones. Now, your experiences with the same mics might be really great, but if you have a mic you're using and not seeing results, well, maybe you should reevaluate your microphone. Remember, your instrument is not your voice. It's the recorded sound of your voice through a microphone. So your mic choice is a huge part of that equation. All right, what have I kicked to the curb? The Sennheiser MKH-50. Now, some mics have a low frequency bump that just kind of lands right in my worst resonant area. The squonky region in my voice really is something between, like 500-600 hertz, and this was one of those mics. Now, I'd been using the 416 shotgun on everything, and I'd read reviews how the MK50 was quieter, less peaky, and a bit more girthy in the low mids. Well, that girthiness came with a big fat blob of craptastic squonk right in my squonkiest squonk range. I knew I should have returned it before my Sweetwater 30-day window closed, but I held on to it thinking there was something there. And I ended up just selling it 6 months later. And between tax, shipping, eBay fees, PayPal fees, and the best price I could get for it, I think I ended up losing about $400 or more on it. So chalk it up to the cost of doing business, but still not an optimal mic choice for me. I think the thing is, like, the 416 was designed in an era where everything was recorded to tape. And that low-end tape bump that you miss when you record digitally has been compensated for in a lot of microphones that have been designed since. And sometimes that compensation really runs into a territory in my voice that is not flattering. So this mic would work great on somebody else, but not on me. So personally, I would not buy this mic again. Okay, next, the Brauner Phanthera. This is why you really have to take forum recommendations with a grain of salt. Better than a U87, they said. Great for VO, they said. Delivers a really polished sound, they said. Fatiguing as hell, my ears said. The Phanthera is one of the most beautiful mics physically. It's built like a total tank. And it's really quiet. And really sensitive. Now, for those of you like me who have a shock mount fetish, the bespoke shock mount with the Brauner was incredible. And when I got the mic, the shock mount was already attached to it, and I couldn't remove it without really exerting a lot of force. So I just left it on, like you see in the picture. Luckily, the case it came in was built in to store the mic and the shock mount just like this. Does it ever come off? I'll never know. But, I've come to read a couple of accounts of engineers saying that their Phanthera tracks were not so easy to mix. So I don't really know what kind of havoc that glossy high-end is wreaking on the tracks, but, man, I'm glad to be out of the Phanthera Owners Club. This may end up being a great mic if you're doing modern pop, but on VO, it's a no-go. And it's all because of the glossy high-end. That really I do find would be fatiguing after a while. If you were just listening to it. In a mix, probably okay. I think I picked up this mic used for like $1,800, and I ended up selling it at a loss before the pandemic also. So, not my best acquisition. All right, next. The TLM-102. Oh man. This is a Neumann mic that is really great for the price. But, I'll tell you, there's something in the highs though. Is it fizzy? Is it fuzzy? I don't know. It's a weird, odd distortion in the highs. I remember it kind of, frugy. I don't know. It's not as transparent and clean as the 103, which you shouldn't expect at this price point. It does have a smidge of warmth in the low mids, and it's much less sensitive than a 103. So to me, it kind of feels more like an 87. But there are some flaws. I do love the size. I think it looks really cool. But the capsule membrane, even though this is probably a non-issue, the capsule membrane is glued on, not screwed on. So I always wondered about the longevity of it. Would this capsule still be working in 10 years, 20 years? Probably, but nearly all adhesives dry out at some point. And this is Neumann's bargain model. So and we don't have enough data on the longevity of the TLM-102, but again, it's the bargain mic. Now, mostly, why I kicked this mic to the curb came down to that little bit of grainy something in the sound, mostly noticeable in the high end. And that was a total deal breaker for me, but I've since learned that you can actually easily twist off the head basket and remove the thin layer of foam inside. And that slight mod could possibly fix that weird graininess. High-end frequencies are, of course, smaller than, lower frequencies. And something like the cells in foam will have more impact on highs than longer wavelength lows. Like, for example, a 12K tone, the wavelength of 12K, the full wavelength is about 1 inch. All right? So, I don't know. Would I buy this mic again? Yes, if only just to test the foam removal mod. And again, maybe it's just me. Maybe this is just something that only happened to me. Maybe it was just the mic I had. But I have heard a couple other people mention a little weirdness that they've heard, graininess in it. So, again, your mileage may vary. So what are your experiences with these mics, and what mics have you tried that you were like, wow, I really wish this worked out, but it just kind of sucked? So let me know. Leave it in the comments. Okay, until next time. This is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.